Unfortunately, Sam Sunderland wasn't the only biker to crash out of the rally yesterday. Bradley Cox, the son of Dakar legend Alfie Cox, also went down heavily, and he had to be taken to hospital in Yanbu for treatment. One of Rally Raid's rising stars, the young South African had been targeting victory in the Rally 2 class.
Today was going good, around the top 10, top 15 the whole day, and it was a broken June, quite a big one, and I go off the end, and on impact I break the elbow, so my Dakar is done.
Also wishing Bradley a speedy recovery. On to stage 2 then, and it's a whopper 430 kilometres as the rally finally leaves the sea camp and heads further north to Al Ula. There is some majestic scenery to come and a lot of rocky tracks. Ricky Brabeck ended up being bumped a few places higher than he might have liked in yesterday's first stage, and he took the win, so the American opened the piece today. He quipped that instead of the 27% of rocks that were advertised, it was closer to 97%. But the first Dakar champion in Saudi Arabia managed to battle his way through, and he only lost 7.5 minutes. He now lies in 6th place overall.
Tomorrow we can make a big push because tomorrow's supposedly supposed to be a little bit tricky, so happy to be here. Definitely ready to take the gear off and relax for a little bit and eat some lunch.
Well, Ricky wasn't the only one who would need a well-earned feed after a gruelling day on 2 wheels. Just check out what they were facing. Sharan Moore is showing that he's hungry for success in the rally's most hardcore class, original by Motul. No assistance, just a bike and a box. The South African, number 40, has led the way since the start of the rally. He currently sits in 36th place overall. Another South African, Mike Doherty, looks set to be one of the revelations of Dakar 2023. He's currently the leader of the Rally 2 class, and he was even in the mix for the stage honours today until getting caught up in the dust late on. Privateer Doherty lives in Dubai, but he's not just about the dunes.
Everyone just assumes that it's because of the sand. I'm really good in the sand, but I've been riding motocross my whole life, so a little bit of rocks, hard pack, it's what I grew up racing.
Now, the way that Daniel Sanders is riding, you wouldn't know he spent most of last year off the rally bike. The Aussie pushing hard from the start and making up a lot of time. In fact, he decided that he was making up a bit too much time, so he slowed down in the closing stages. Sanders, after all, is a shrewd tactician. He hasn't had too much roadbook practice lately, so he didn't fancy opening the stage tomorrow.
I didn't want to win, even though the opening bonus is in there. It's too early on in the race, and thought I'd just slow down a bit, have a little picnic again, and waited a few minutes, and then, come across the line so far in 5th, and hopefully a few more fast guys come in behind this and keep pushing, and it should give me a good starting position for tomorrow.
Kevin Benavides is one tough cookie, but he said this was perhaps the hardest Dakar stage since the rally came to the Arabian Peninsula. Very long, very difficult, very physically and mentally demanding. The Argentine set off second today and caught Brabeck. They spent a while playing around together at the front before they were joined by Mason Klein. Kevin ended up in 8th place, but he sits 4th overall. Like some of the local wildlife, Lorenzo Santolino really feels at home on this kind of terrain. The Spaniard said he really trusts his Sherco on the rocks and the stones, and he felt good about his performance, despite agreeing with Benavides that this was one of the hardest ever stages in Saudi Arabia. Santolino spent a bit of time today with Nacho Cornejo and Ross Branch coming in 7th. Joan Barreda is just keeping his nose out of trouble at the start of this Dakar. We're used to seeing fireworks from Bang Bang, but a more conservative approach is paying dividends so far. The Honda privateer didn't take part in too many rallies in 2022, so he's just trying to find the rhythm. 6th place on the stage, he's 3rd overall, only around 2 minutes off the pace. Toby Price, another man delighted to make it through this stage in one piece. It really was a marathon as well. 5.5 hours in the saddle. That was more than the organisers had predicted, but none of the riders wanted to take big risks going over these stones. Price said everything was feeling good, and he's right up there now. 2nd overall, just 1 minute and 41 off the pace. Ross Branch also pleased with the start of his Dakar. The man from Botswana says there's no real strategy at the moment. He's just trying to get through the stages and handle them as best he can. He did have a minor problem at the last refuelling, but tore through the final part of the stage to come 4th. He was just relieved to finish perhaps the longest rally stage that he's ever done. Skylar Howe said this one was incredibly beautiful at the start, although his appreciation of the scenery soon gave way to more pragmatic considerations. The American does enjoy the endurance aspect of Rally Raid, but his body really took some punishment today. He didn't feel he was making too much progress early on, so ended up pushing a little harder than he intended. 3rd place on the stage. Now this was one of the nice stories of Stage 2, a best ever Dakar stage performance for Sebastian Bühler, who missed last year's rally after breaking his leg at the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. It has been a long road back for the German, who grew up in Portugal, but he'll be delighted about getting back to his best level with the Hero Motorsports team. Bühler looking to improve on 14th overall 2 years ago. He's into the top 10. But the stage victory went to American sensation Mason Klein, who did a great job after setting off in 3rd. The 21-year-old caught Brabeck and Benavides and ended up opening in the final section. Ever the perfectionist, he was unhappy with another penalty, but still took the stage and the overall lead. He'll now be opening on stage 3, where the first bonus seconds are on offer. In the meantime, he's trying not to get ahead of himself.
No, I want to win. Who doesn't want to win, right? Of course, but I think it's hard to win. It's like I don't want to celebrate because anything can happen, you know? Like, just be so bummer if it changes, but if it stays, I'm super happy.
Klein the top dog between the C Camp and Alula, but there weren't big gaps, a shade over 4 minutes separating the top 10. Here is the top 10 overall. Again, the gaps aren't too significant. 1 minute and 41 between Klein and Toby Price. Now the World Rally Raid Championship standings, only one minor change here with Adrian van Beveren moving into the top 10 in place of Barreda.